Blessed day, friends and family. This is Justin Caldwell over at No Ordinary Ministries slash No Ordinary Wings. I just came on here for a quick second, just to drop something. Why I've been going over the last few things I've been going over as far as the spiritual world is very important, and just stressing the fact how we need to really grasp that concept. And as I'm doing all my knowledge, I'm coming up with all these different kind of books just off the knowledge I'm getting. So I've been thinking lately, and of course my thinking led me to books, and all praise go to Yahweh. So I was like, as I'm doing my studies, that is, I went to thinking like, I've been having a strong urge to get on the timing of Yahweh, because I was like, I do a lot of fasting, but I haven't been fasting lately. I ain't even gonna cap with you. I ain't been fasting at all. So not as much as I need to, or how I would like to. But I was thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if Yahweh, if it's, the actual days that's appointed to us, that he set aside for us to, to follow. I was like, man, that can help me. That can help all of us. That can help all of us stay in alignment with Yahweh's, with his commandments, with the covenant that he gave us in the beginning. To just help a lot. It'll help us to stay on track with fasting, and not just going through some things and then happen to be like, man, I need to fast. I need to fast. We'll already be on top of it, because it's a part of our daily makeup. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of our new lifestyle, so to speak. And I just went to digging in, and so I was like, I went to looking up the Jews and the Hebrews and their holidays, or the days that that they celebrate. And then I was like, what does the scripture say that Yahweh, the feast and the all of that stuff, what's ordained from him? And I came up with pretty much a calendar, and pretty much with a whole timeline of what we should be partaking in throughout the year. And I'm finna jump on it, man. And it's just a perfect time for anybody who's interested in getting into anything like that, with it being the beginning of the year, just the new moons and the feasts and the first fruits and all of that stuff. And what's so ironic about all of this, like all of this tie into everything I've been talking about, it still goes into the everything is spiritual. And see, this is how deep and heavy it is. So what the enemy did to us, what the enemy did to my people, what he did was he replaced everything, because we were already on a set calendar. We were already on a set calendar, 364-day calendar. And we partake in the Sabbath, the new moons, the feasts. But what the enemy came in is straight manipulation, just a trick. What he came in and did was, he came in and it's almost like he combined, this is what happened. He combined his pagan practices with our practice, and he combined them. So it's like now, and it kind of weaved out what we did originally, and so now we're actually, it's crazy, but we actually, like, we worshiping these pagan deities, even though we still going to church, and I don't go to church no more, but even though we're doing all of that, we were still and saying we believe in Jesus and all of this. you still worshiping these pagan deities because like you're not fully walking in the covenant that God made for us. And the covenant was for us to keep his of course his commandments, but also follow the things that he had. I'm gonna read a few things. And I actually came up with a two-part book um for this whole thing. Um and book one is Restoring the Rhythm of Heaven. And the purpose of book one introduces readers to the divine orchestration of time established by Yahweh. It explains how humanity was originally intended to live in harmony with heaven's rhythms daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, and how rebellion, empire, and human invention have distorted those patterns. The book provides the foundation for spiritual timing, preparing the reader to understand the celestial and covenantal structure of creation. Time as a covenant. Time is not arbitrary. It is divinely structured and serves as a spiritual framework for alignment and destiny. The 364-day calendar. Heaven's calendar ensures that Sabbaths, new moons, and feasts always occur. And before I move any further, what I looked up also with the Jews and what they're doing, a lot of the stuff that they doing is pagan. And like I said, it's pagan mixed with a lot of the stuff that you're supposed to do, but it's more pagan stuff. It's a lot, and I list all of that stuff in the book that's not ordained by Yahweh. So it's this book, it includes the 364 calendar, which ensures that Sabbaths, new moons, and feasts always occur at the correct, divinely appointed moments. Spiritual consequences of calendar distortion. False calendars, pagan festivals, and syncretism disrupt spiritual clarity, prophetic insight, and generational alignment. And man, the information is just so deep because it's like right there in a nutshell. By us not following what the scriptures say and the customs that we need to partake in, like we're not walking in alignment all the way. Like I wasn't either, and like I was shocked because I was like, man, like me just even though I'm fasting, even though I'm praying correctly, even if I'm doing everything right, like this one thing was still keeping me out of alignment. You know what I'm saying? And like even so what really sparked this study, I went to thinking about like the name Christian, because I know I always heard like different 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 backstories about the Christian name. So what I did was I did some research, and of course in the book of Acts it said and Antioch was when they first was called Christians. So, just breaking that down, if you call something, it ain't nothing that it didn't, the scripture didn't say what they went by or what they referred to themselves as. It say they was called it. So it was like if somebody, and what it all boiled down to, like it was a negative remark. It was a derogatory remark. It was almost like they was making fun of them, and that's where the name Christian came from, and it eventually stuck. No, it's not a wrong. In a sense, there is a wrong way to pray. I mean, first of all, you want to use scripture when you praying. Uh, Ghost, Ghost Rider Outlaw. You want to use scripture when you praying, but you always want to when you praying, you always you know go to the scripture. Go to the scripture to pray. I mean, to get that insight of what it is that you're whatever answer you're trying to seek. Always use the scripture. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of information in the Bible, so I always encourage people to go on Google and just look up scriptures pertaining to whatever it is you're dealing with or whatever it is you're trying to pray against. Now, going into prayer, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, depending on what you're praying against, you might have to pray against certain spirits, certain unclean spirits to move that stuff out the way. That so you can overcome whatever it is you're dealing with. So like I was saying, like the name Christian ain't even a name or ordained name from Yahweh. Like that wasn't even a name that he gave us or wanted us to use. So like I went to going in, so that goes into book 2. Because like I said, that was my whole intention of writing it, was because of that. And then I end up, coming up with of course, a whole lot of other good information. So spiritual consequences of calendar distortion, false calendars, pagan festivals. Okay, I just read that. And then dreams and spiritual gates. God's timing influences dreams, visions, and spiritual warfare. Misaligned calendars open doors to deception. And that just goes to the point that, like I said, like we really, man, and it's kind of sad, man, but after getting the revelation of the knowledge, it's like it ain't, I ain't got no choice but I just got to turn up in the right way. You know what I'm saying? So the next one is restoration of alignment, and that's just showing the reader how to follow Yahweh's calendar, or by following Yahweh's calendar, it restores spiritual focus, clarity, clarifies assignments, and strengthens covenantal connections. Yeah, man. So it's fire, man. It's fire. So book 2 is Yahweh's ordained days, and the way I wrote the book, which I like, my first book, which is Dreams, Warfare, and Victory. I didn't. I just wrote it like almost like a study guide, but it's good, man, and it's direct and it's to the point. So when I started, I was writing this book, and before I knew it, I was like, man, hold on. I was like, man, I'm writing characters in it, because I got a whole nother. I got a what they call it? I got a saga I'm working on also, like a 9-book saga, 9-volume saga. So it's gonna be like Star Wars, like bigger than Star Wars, bigger than Harry Potter. Like it's gonna be big. It's gonna be nice, and I'm just about complete with book 2. So I got that coming. But what I was doing, I don't know what I was thinking, but I noticed I had characters in book 2, well, like in these books what I was writing. But when I was reading what I had so far, I was like, this actually sound pretty good, because it's almost like it's interactive learning, because you got people, like I said, I got characters in there, and these characters, is like you got this teacher, and this teacher is talking to his students or his disciples, and they actually it's like it's they asking questions, and it's interactive teaching. So it's good, man. It ended up turning out real good. So Yahweh's ordained days, book 2 builds upon the foundation of book 1, focusing specifically on Yahweh's appointed days, modem. And I'm using, and a lot of these are the books that I'm writing now, or specifically the ones on in these 2, I'm using some Hebrew names. I ain't going crazy, because I ain't too sharp with the Hebrew yet, but I do plan on getting there. But I'm using some names, but it does have the English translation right beside it. That way, I ain't trying to be bougie or none of that. So focusing specifically on Yahweh's appointed days, modem, which is a Hebrew word, and the moedim, and the spiritual identity of his people. It reveals the truth about the names used for Yahweh's followers. the corruption of the Christian label, and how spiritual and cultural systems have obscured Yahweh's calendar. The book blends history, scripture, and practical teaching to guide believers into covenantal timing. So key things: the appointed names of Yahweh's people from Nazarem to Talmudim, exploring how the title Christian emerged and replaced the original holy identity. The identity of the early assembly, teaching the importance of obedience and covenantal living over religious labels. Time and spiritual warfare, how calendars, empires, and false timing systems disrupt spiritual alignment. The modem of Yahweh, detailed teachings on Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Shabbat, Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, including practical guidance for modern observance. Restoration and alignment, how to break false covenant cycles, cleanse altars, and restore household and bloodline alignment. Yeah, so it's good, man. Overall, together these books form a complete guide to spiritual timing and identity, showing believers how to reclaim the rhythm of heaven, walk in covenant alignment, and live fully in Yahweh's appointed time. So I'm finna go to something because man, it was powerful because it pretty much said something about your identity and what that does when you're being called by another name, or like basically it's powerful, and it made a whole lot of sense, man. And I want to share it with y'all before I get off of here. Hey, like I said, I wasn't going too crazy as late as it is. I was just up. I had wanted to do this all day, but my little bro had came and hollered at me today, man. And it kind of just, timing was off. Then my wife put me to work, putting shelves and stuff together. Something I should have did a long time ago. But nevertheless, I got it done today, which was good. She was happy for that. So I'm just trying to find this real quick. Let me see what book this is. All right, hold on. Y'all bear with me. But yeah, basically, so like your name and what you call by is everything. And it makes sense when you think about it, because it's like, so this why the whole time, because at one point, they it's a lot of talk about the Indian name and all of that stuff, and then it's a lot of but if you look back in history, they changed those names over time from Indian to Negro to Black to African American. So it makes sense, like how what the scripture's saying, how they was called this name, and then they start being called by this name. You know what? Let me just do this. I think I find this quicker this way. Let me see. Hold on, let me try to find this. It says today he began. His voice steady at Charles with III. We begin with the matter that strikes at the heart of our identity. Names, not the labels men give, but the appointed names Yahweh himself has set for his people. He unrolled the scroll, revealed the ancient, and this is part of the book right here. He unrolled the scroll, revealed the ancient script of Ge'ez, and read aloud and read aloud. And I always put scripture because we need that concrete evidence. That way we know. So he said, they will forget the names. They will forget the new moons, the seasons, and the Sabbaths, and they will walk in the way of the nations. And that's Jubilees 6:34. Um, Elijah Gaze. So that's like this book get deep. He stepped closer. It says, "You shall not take on the name of Yahweh your Elohim in vain, for he will not leave unpunished those who do so." Names are covenants anchored. They are spiritual signatures written before creation. The earliest followers of the way were called, and they're going it out here on it. Let me see. Names are not arbitrary. They are eternal. They define us before Yahweh, before the heavens, before the spiritual courts. The understood this, as did the learners. Their names told of their covenant, their purpose, and their destiny. So basically, I can't find exactly where it's at. I don't want to hold y'all, but basically it was saying that basically by you taking on another name, you kind of forfeiting you forfeiting that covenant, man. You're going against that covenant and everything you stand for. And we know that. That's just like somebody calling us a derogatory name, the B word, or something out our name. Like you basically taking away from my essence of who I am as a person. You trying to degrade me, and you just trying to make me out to be something I'm not as a whole, as a human being. So yeah, I got these coming soon. I still got a little bit more work to do on them, and then I'm gonna finish them up. But that was it, man. I love y'all, man, and y'all, man. Cause like I say, man, continue to seek knowledge. Don't ever think you're better than nobody. Just pray. We don't know everything. We learning. As you can see, we learning by the day, man, and just take your time with people, man. You got to give people time, man. You got to give people time because we don't know everything. We've been lied to our whole life. But, it's a blessing that we getting it right, man. It's a blessing, man. So y'all have a good night or a good morning, I should say. And y'all be blessed.